Hey, this is Joe. We have another brake job tips and tricks for you. If you've seen the other video, I showed you the condition of the brake carriage assembly bolts, and they were all rusted, so I ordered some new ones. So always use new bolts, not only because it's better, the bolts can strain, but the ones I had were covered in rust and the threads were bunged up. So what we're going to do now is we're going to get some anti-seize compound or anti-seize lubricant, and we're going to coat the threads of the bolts with the anti-seize. That way, the next time we have to pull the caliper and caliper carriage assembly, it'll make it much easier, and over time we won't rust out our bolts and could damage the carrier assembly bolt threads, and those carriage assemblies are very expensive to replace. So let me show you how we're going to put some anti-seize compound on there, and then we'll put the bolts into the carriage assembly. I coated the bolt in some anti-seize compound. You're not going to see very much because the bolt is gray and the anti-seize compound is gray. So what we're going to do now is start these bolts in the carriage assembly, and then that way we're all protected until the next brake job. When pulling the hub with the wheel bearings off of the steering knuckle or spindle, whichever way you want to refer to it, I had to take a wire brush and really clean the rust off of this. It hadn't been removed in so long that I had to tap it out with a hammer. It took me about 30 minutes. So when we're going to put the new hub assembly back on, we want to take our anti-seize compound and we want to coat some inside this recessed area here, so when we go to take it off the next time, it won't be rusted on there. So let's go ahead and put some just a light coat of anti-seize compound on there. This way we're protecting our surface. It's hopefully not going to rust as bad the next time we put that on. So let's go ahead now and line up the hub assembly to the 4 bolts in the on the steering knuckle or spindle, and then we'll get that on. After you line up the bolt holes in the hub, go ahead and pull the bolts out and then put some anti-seize compound on the bolts, and then you can go ahead and finish seating the bolts into the hub. We got the hub put in. All the bolts have been anti-seize compound. We torqued all the 4 bolts on the hub to 70 Newton meters plus a quarter of a turn, and that is torque to yield. And we put the axle bolt in and just snugged it up because we have to put the car on the ground in order to tighten those up. We have the new ball joint on the bottom. We have all the bolts torqued on the bottom. Now what we're going to do is put the rotor on and get that snug, and then we can get some anti-seize compound and put it on the brake caliper carrier assembly. Now what we're going to do is we have the rotor on. We have the carrier assembly, which will mount back on here. We purchased some new bolts, so we're going to put some anti-seize compound on these bolts, and then we're going to screw the carrier assembly onto the spindle or knuckle, and then we can, the last thing is we can mount the calipers. So this will be all we have for now on using anti-seize compound on your suspension and brake components. So hope you enjoyed the video. We'll see you next time.